greetings, cyber, more like seasoned greetings, cyber citizens. It's Cali Joe from North Carolina. It's the week before Christmas and Hanukkah, and happy holidays. I'm here today giving good news that the prison reformer Paris Hilton, my apologies, the child welfare reformer Paris Hilton is gotten some really good movement in our legislative branch. And there's more to come on that. TMZ has the story for you. And Kim Kardashian, according to TMZ, has helped a woman out of New Jersey be set free after 25 years. So, sounds like our community is doing well for herself. So today, what I have for you is a good friend that I'm interviewing by the name of Erwin Jarvis. And he is a celebrity. Let me introduce Erwin to you today. Hello, Erwin. How are you doing?
Fine. How are you?
Groovy. So tell us, would you explain how you are, I consider you to be a celebrity?
When I was first incarcerated at Marion, I got an invitation, a request for an interview from a production company out of Toronto. They were working for a television program which Fear Thy Neighbor.
This call is from a North Carolina correctional facility.
This Christmas, the Elena Deladon Academy for Children is the greatest gift for our daughters. Erwin, I apologize for that interruption on that commercial, thanks to our system that we have. Could you repeat that part?
Okay. A production company out of Toronto wrote me and asked for an interview. How they got my name, I have no idea, but they came to Marion and interviewed me for an hour about how I came to prison.
So what you're saying, it was a story content specifically over your crime, which would involve, what would that be?
I killed my next door neighbors, Janice and Jesse Matheson.
And prior to that, didn't you try to get assistance and help by restraining orders?
My wife, every day for 4 years, Jesse and Janice, who were the house that they were the house was in foreclosure. They were more or less camping out there. The house had been abandoned while Jesse held a job in Atlanta for several years. When they returned during the Great Recession, 2008, 2009, they came up with a simple plan. They were going to harass the people next door. If they knew that I was a gun guy, if they could get me to wave a gun, they could have me arrested, and then they could sue Jenny and take her house. Now, this is Janice told this to Jenny.
That is very creepy and interesting. There are bad neighbors. Have you ever seen the movie The Birds?
No, I don't think so.
Great movie with Tom Hanks. But all joking aside, how can they look for that show and programming again? What was it called?
The television program was Fear Thy Neighbor. It's on A&E or Bravo or something. I'm not sure which network.
That is very interesting. I hope everybody looks that one up for Erwin Jarvis. You know about what year that was that it played in availability?
That was 2017. The episode was titled Desperate Times, Deadly Measures, I believe.
All right. Well, I hope everybody checks that one out. But the rest of today is going to be about other topics beyond just the crime. Today, I would like to ask you, actually, let me change that because I'm still shocked by our conversation earlier. Yesterday, I decided that I wanted to go with you for the story for Christmas, and you revealed to me something very sensitive and personal to that. What special day is it for you?
Well, this is my wife's birthday, Jenny. She died last August.
So this is your first birthday for Jenny alone, correct?
That's true. She would be 71 today.
It's very, very heartfelt. I've been with you for a long time, Erwin, and my heart goes out to you. I know you've been grieving, and I know you've been taking it in stride.
Well, take it however you can. Uh, she was certainly a wonderful person.
Well, here's a moment we could actually eulogize her. She didn't go to the funeral, correct?
Oh no. About 3 days before she died, they patched through the phone here, and I got to talk to her in ICU very briefly. She could barely talk. After that, she demanded that she be sent home to die in her own bed. And I think the following Tuesday, I called home and my son told me that she had died at that point.
That is very, very sad. Tell us, what is the greatest things that your life did for you prior to your incarceration and during? Let's give people an idea of how wonderful of a woman she was.
She was the most loving, kindest mother I've ever run across. She had no enemy. I don't think in 33 years that we were together when I was arrested, I don't believe I ever heard her say anything bad about it. She was just wonderful.
You told me before that she was a really fierce person even in the courtroom. Can you tell us about that story on that?
Actually, she dying and retiring. I was dead. But we discovered when we went try to get the restraining order that when you take a woman into a courtroom, she went through a metamorphosis, and she became confident, self-assured, and she became a lion in the courtroom. She was at my sentencing hearing. Prosecutor was screaming at her. She showed no emotion. She backed him down. I was amazed.
Amazed sounds like a good word for it.
Yeah, certainly was.
Erwin, why don't you tell us a little bit about what we talked about earlier on the uniqueness of how you were convicted prior to the process?
Well,
This call is from a North Carolina correctional facility.
This Christmas, if you're looking to fall in love, check out Netflix Love, but, on the spectrum with people's autism. I apologize, Erwin. Now, one thing that we talked about is that you were not indicted. They did a bill of information waiving the indictment. Is this correct?
no, yes. There was no indictment. I was just held in the Buncombe County Jail where I was allowed to starve to death. There was no indictment, not even possible cause hearing. That was waived.
No, I can feel for you on that one. They did the same procedure on me where they waived the bill of information. So they took the bill of information, waived the indictment without my knowing. And as you told me before, that's similar to your situation. But you just said something very interesting about the starvation tactics of the Buncombe County Jail. Would you like to talk about that?
Sure. They don't give you very much to eat in the jail. They your family to keep you alive through the commissary. And items on the commissary normally cost 4 times what they do on the street. I didn't have money for that, so in the first 9 months, I lost 105 pounds.
Oh my God, that's like a lot.
After that, I wasn't allowed on the scales again. So I don't know how much I actually lost. I was there another 3 months before I finally gave in and accepted the plea.
But you didn't know it was a bill of information waiving indictment?
No. What happened is my plea expediter. She wasn't counsel. She was a plea expediter. When I had been starved down enough, brought in first my sons, and I met them in a lawyer's booth through a plexiglass window. Buncombe County doesn't allow personal visits. It's all on television. They begged me to take the plea, and I refused. I was holding out for trial. I believe then as I do now that a jury would never pick me. After that, when that failed, they brought in the big gun, Jenny, and I met her in a conference room. She had seen my face many times over the last year. She knew I'd lost weight, but when I walked into the conference room, she saw how much weight, and she just freaked out. She went totally ape.
Well, yeah, I feel you on that. And again, I'm sorry to hear about Jenny still. But can you tell me where you're at right now with that?
We're at Nash.
That is understanding what I meant. And I apologize. Let me clarify. On the appellate post-conviction process, how are you doing on that?
Well, we attempted an application for an MAR. That was rejected with one sentence after a year. At this point, we're trying to get some further information. There was the rejection had nothing. It was just one sentence.
Right, and it was not even on a proper standard format. It was on the letterhead, just a simple letter, correct?
Correct.
And that was after this facility. Thank you. This is Cali Joe again. And as a recap, I'm with Erwin Jarvis telling you a story of his unlawful conviction where we stand your ground. And we're going to compare now with the Luigi character from the United Healthcare shooting, where, whose business is it if you take another human life? It's the communities. It's a serious thing when you choose to take somebody's life and do what amounts to as vigilantism. There's a right and a wrong way to do things. The courts, often though can be unfair, is the proper and appropriate way. So here we are with Erwin. Erwin, how are you doing?
I'm fine.
Well, that's cool. So are you ready for Christmas?
Suppose.
Well, ready or not, here it comes. Followed by the year 2025. So, Erwin, what I was going to say is, most people in prison, there's this habit of justifying their crime. I can't do it in my case because I just love my friend who died, and it's a horrible, horrible tragedy. But in your case, you say that somebody was threatening your life with a very sharp tool, which can be found in what programming again?
This call is from a North Carolina correctional facility.
For those of you who love podcasting, check out the Call Her Daddy podcast. Okay, back to the Erwin. What program can they be found on?
The program was called Fear Thy Neighbor. Jesse never bought any tools. When it all took place, he was standing across the front yard. He was trimming limbs in a maple tree. They were trimmed up above the ground. He had a pruning saw with one of the prefab handles that you could buy at Lowe's or Home Depot.
That's very interesting when you go check out Fear Thy Neighbor and that episode that Erwin has been in. Erwin, back to the Luigi conversation. Now, Donald Trump has stated, taking matters in your own hands. And, of course, after the assassination attempt, he definitely is steadfast in protecting human life and public safety. But, again, this thing where people are glorifying this Luigi character. It's one thing when, after years in prison where we rehabilitated ourselves, but to glorify somebody killing another human being, what would you say to that? Because I know from my case, you can't justify it, and it's traumatic.
Well, no. What I gathered in the news, he had no relation with that healthcare company at all. He just picked him at random.
What I find interesting is they were charging him with second-degree murder instead of first-degree murder.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah. And he had a manifesto, and he hunted the man down and then slaughtered him. I'm surprised by that. What do you? I don't know all the facts to that, but that was the scintilla of information that I had. Any thoughts on that?
I can't add anything. What little I know of, I get from the evening news, and which is perhaps a little biased.
Yeah, I'd say so. I agree, Erwin. Now, I have a question for you, Erwin. Let's go back and revisit the conversation about Fear Thy Neighbor. What was it like recording that in prison? I bet you super nervous.
Not really. They took a conference room, and when I came into the conference room, there was a film crew there. They had covered up all the fluorescent lights with plastic. It was completely dark, except one corner where they had set up sound equipment and a camera scene. The producer, who had met me at visitation several days beforehand, asked questions. And basically, for an hour, I told him what had happened, how our relations with Jesse and Janice, how they had terrorized us. It was so we could not leave the house.
Wow, that is horrible. And I know that you tried to save your lives by putting restraining orders. And Ron Moore's court back then was not about helping people in the city of Nashville. And I know how tough that is for you, Erwin. I have a question. If you had a chance to do it all over again, would you still do the programming?
Yeah, I think so. I was advised by a number of people not to do it because it had a reputation for being somewhat sensational. But the reaction people had was very positive. So
I look at things like with the Menendez brothers right now currently, which is kind of fizzling out, and I hope things can work out for it. But I myself, I'm not sure if I want to tell a story about my situation in that kind of way, because bringing it back up again would be, again, very traumatic for me. It's a horrible situation. But, I mean, what can you make of this on the choice to make a decision like that?
I had no other choice. And I knew from day one, I knew nothing about the law other than pleading guilty 9 over on a speeding ticket. But I went in knowing that if a jury would not convict me, that after what my family had been through day in, day out, 4 years, they wouldn't convict me, and they did in fact attack me.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that information, and of course they can watch Fear Thy Neighbor, and they can get a good feel of that. Would you agree?
Yeah.
And did you actually see the program yourself?
No, I've never seen it.
I'm curious because I've not seen it either. It'd be very interesting to see. And it was kind of a big deal for the prison you were at the time.
That was Marion. They had local news crews there before, but they had never had a network television program. So for several months, I was the Hollywood star.
Yes, and you still are. And I will always remember your humor, no matter what. And I will definitely say, I have a question. When it comes to them releasing nonviolent,
This call is from a North Carolina correctional facility.
if you're looking for some good podcasting content, I would encourage you to check out Bunny XO, who happens to be Jelly Roll's wife, on the Blog podcast. But back to Erwin Jarvis. Erwin, I will definitely say, what was the last book you read?
Someone sent me a novel by Dan Simmons, The Terror, which became an AMC movie. I think it was a docudrama. It was about the Franklin expedition, which in 1845 was looking for the Northwest Passage that ended up frozen in the ice for 3 years. No one survived that. Yeah, but Mr. Shipman wrote an excellent novel about that. And I enjoy historical novels anyway. And that was a very, very good. The Terror, it was called.
Well, there you go. Recommendation for Christmas, ladies and gentlemen. Well, let's hope for the best for you, Erwin Jarvis. You are a good man, and I have enjoyed being your friend for the longest time. Any words of wisdom to the cyber citizens that are listening?
None other than enjoy the holidays.
Is there anyone you'd like to say Merry Christmas to?
My sons.
Sounds satisfactory. And never forget, ladies and gentlemen, God loves you. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah. This is Cali Joe. Are you listening?